right. Welcome everybody to our team training. It is Tuesday, the 20th of February 2018. And tonight I'm excited to have another Kylie. That's amazing, right? Another Kylie on the Zoom with me at the same time, sharing, I guess, a little bit about her wins, her challenges, and also her goals. So what I love is that Kylie, for those of you that don't know, I met through social media, through doing an ad on Facebook. Now, I'm not sharing with you to tell you all to go and do ads because it's super challenging and you get a lot of leads for not a lot of return. But I was blessed that Kylie was one of those. We built a relationship and she decided to join my business last year. So Kylie has been on a journey over that time. She's had so many challenges, so many wins. And tonight I just thought it was a really good opportunity for her to be in the hot seat because I know of recent, and I hope she's going to share a little bit about this, is that she's really had to go to work a little bit on self-love and self-belief. So I think from a different angle, we don't always on these hot seats need to talk about how I got 12 customers or, you know, in the next 30 days I want to hit SDVF or something. Sometimes it is going on that deeper level because if those things aren't right and in alignment, then your mindset isn't there and you're really not going to achieve those goals anyway. So I hope she does share a little bit about that tonight because I know that she has been on that journey the last few weeks of really going deep and learning to, you know, love herself again and build on that self-belief. You know, we know that belief in the industry, belief in the product, and belief in yourself is so important. And if you don't have all of those, then you're not going to have the success that you truly want. So I am very proud of her that she has identified that and gone to work because I think that's one of the biggest things is owning it and going, you know what, I actually need help in this area and I'm going to take the time I need to build on that. So Kylie, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for jumping on, honey. So Kylie's over in Perth, in WA. So for those of you, I'm sure everyone on the call is coming to conference, right? So we're all going to see Kylie in June. I'm just putting that out there. I know Shanika and I have our tickets. So if you want to come and party and have some fun with us, and I hope to see you all there. But Kylie, first question I'd love to start with is, you know, before we go into the things that you've been working on recently, I would love for you to share a little bit about, you know, some of the wins that you've had, you know, along the business. Doesn't need to be just about product or bringing on team. You know, some things that you've implemented along the way that you found have really helped you, you know, along your journey.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Kylie. I've got my son next to me. I'm flying solo tonight because my partner's training, so apologies.
That's all right.
But what's worked for me? So, you know, it's no surprises to anyone that the system works, and when you consistently plug in, it does pay off. And consistently doing those high-paying activities for me when I was striving for SDVF, which was a restart, but once I got into action, and prior to that, as Kylie referred to, worked on my self-belief. Getting self-belief is that gatekeeper and was for me at that time to be able to get into action consistently and achieve that. So that's no surprises to anyone, but even since hitting SDVF, I've had challenges again, and things in life have got me out of action. And recently, in the last kind of 5-6 weeks, I've had to stop and think and assess what is getting me out of action. Like, we know it's simple, we know what we can achieve in blocks of 30 minutes or 60 minutes. If anyone's ever done any of the Hour of Powers, where you go through and you do your reach outs, your follow-ups, your likes, your comments, and all of that, you can achieve so much in an hour. But for me, I was just not in action, and I was questioning, like, why can't I get into action? And it came back to, for me, state. So there was a lot going on in life in general that I felt I wasn't in that state to be able to truly connect with people and come from that heart place where we're told, you know, and taught that we're here to impact lives, not to, there's so much we can achieve for ourselves in this business, but if we do it from that heart space, then we're going to be driven and the results will come anyway. So, like, the simple things that I had to go to work on and become disciplined in were practicing gratitude, because that instantly moved my state. Doing things for me that really come back to living the mission. So that's looking after what I'm putting into my body, starting to work out, those types of things. And I've always put so much pressure on myself. I'm kind of all in or nothing at all. And I had to really step back and go, look, it'd be nice to have this schedule where there's exercise, there's gratitude, there's journaling, there's an hour of Juice Plus each day, you know, connecting into trainings. But I had to step back and go, what can I achieve with where I'm at the moment, and slowly implement those things into my daily routine. So it's not just about your DMO, at least for me anyway, that self-love and that self-care, practicing gratitude, linking into trainings that were going to resonate with me, where I was at around self-belief, have been really massive. So one thing that's definitely worked for me through all of that, where I felt like I was somewhat out of action, has been nurturing relationships. And that's doing that without expectation of anything in return. Just reaching out to people and connecting indirectly, nothing to do with the product or the business, and just checking in with how they're going. And that's how I've been able to get the last couple of orders that I've got come in. And I've been conversations with distant cousins of mine who I haven't really had a relationship with for a while, but I started reconnecting with them months ago. It's like what we hear often, that, you know, they both said no about 4 or 5 months ago, and they've both, since me connecting them with them and just taking an interest in their lives and their families, have asked about the product and put orders through. So I think, you know, for sure what I know works is that when your self-belief is strong, when you get those no's, you're going to be grounded and be able to take those no's. And often they'll come back, whether it's weeks or months later.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kylie. Loved all of that. So I know, you know, along the way you have done a lot of building relationships. Kylie from the very beginning has been very big on planting seeds and watching those grow. And I guess you can see from that, like she said, it was 3 or 4 months ago that she was connecting with these people that they said no. And I guess it's that really power. And if I'm correct, Kylie, you probably, in the headspace that you're in, wouldn't have reached back out to them had you not gone to work on that self-belief. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that state, like being in state to reach out to them, like without expectation that they're going to want to place an order, just taking an interest in their lives.
Can you share a little bit with the girls about when you talk about reaching out and with no, expectation, what kind of message are you sending them as an idea to help them with, because I know some people get really scared about direct reach outs. Like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say. Can you share a little bit around a general convo that you may have with someone when you do that direct reach out to them and, just touching base? Yeah,
definitely. For me, like we're taught a lot to add value to others' lives, and when that to add value, and I've certainly done that a lot in my journey. But I realized as well through trainings that it's so important to be real and vulnerable, and I wasn't that at the start. So with the people that I've reconnected with, the challenges that I've had in my life that I know they can resonate with, we've connected on those things. And so in a way, like I've actually just reached out to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. How are you finding it? And that's the challenges around parenting, toilet training, leading a balanced life, those kind of things, just being real with people. And that everyone loves to share their wins. And they feel honoured when they have been asked. If you show value, if you show that you trust and respect what they've got to offer, then it just kind of strengthens that connection and that rapport with them.
Awesome. I love that. And it's so true, right? That I guess on social media in particular, it's all about this glorified life, right? And I know actually Tanika shared a little bit about that today on Facebook with a post that she did about her daughter, and was sharing that from the outside looking in, it might look like my life is amazing. And people do think that because we do post everything positive. But I think that it is important, and Kylie's obviously realised that, connecting with people, it doesn't always have to be sharing how amazing you're doing and living all this. It's being raw and being real, because they'll resonate with that more than, everything's amazing in your life, and that just might be a bit overwhelming to them. So being real and I love how Kylie's found something to actually reach out to them about, about toilet training, about those things, because people will comment back because they're like, yeah, this is actually relative to me. She's not just reaching out about something that's totally not in relation to where I'm at in my life. So she's finding things that they can both relate to on that level and starting that conversation and seeing where it goes. Don't always worry about how do I then share Juice Plus. The opportunity may come up, it may not come up, and that's okay. But you're loving on them, and as she said, is adding value. Thank you so much, Kylie. So can you share a little bit about, just some of I know you touched a little bit, but would love you to go into a bit more about some of the challenges that you've had along your journey. I know you shared before that you had a restart, and, that's a lot of people in this business do that, and that's okay, and I think we need to be mindful of that if you don't reach the fast track, it's not the end of your business, right? Like, there is restarts, there's ways to keep on going. It's not all about a bonus. That's the small part of this business. So I would love for you to share a little bit about, your challenges along the way and how you kind of worked around some of those.
Yeah, without overly rehashing what I've just touched on recently, okay, what I must say is what I love about this business is that if I had treated my job the way I've treated this business at times, I would be out of a job. So I'm grateful that I can rehire myself every day. But what's got me through recently, when I thought, can I actually do this? Do I have what it takes to keep pushing through the no's and keep pushing through the challenges, is the small team that's underneath me that I've brought on, feeling this loyalty. Like, these people have come on, they've believed in me and what I've shared with them, and that took me right back to purpose and how it's not all about me, it's not all about us, it's about the lives that we get to impact. So that's been really big of late, just really connecting into that purpose of serving others. And again, like, just still working on that self-belief and being like the discipline of doing your DMO each day is something that I recently haven't been good at. I get distracted really easily. I can't go onto Facebook by myself and go comment, like, send messages, follow-ups. But I had a breakthrough, which I have had before as well, doing an hour of power call. I don't know if anyone watched Boss Babes Blitz today with Adam and Kira. It's a really effective way of utilising an hour to get most of your DMO done in a day. So feel like being on their live or playing that recording, hearing their voice saying, do this, right, stop. It just is a really effective way to get you disciplined to execute those tasks on your DMO, because they're not hard. It's just a matter of sticking to it for that period of time.
Yeah, and I think that is so true. Our business is that simple, right? 30 minutes, an hour, but we have so many distractions that come up, along the way, and it's easy. Kylie's got a little boy in the background, she's having to look after him and that as well. And I think when we are a stay-at-home mum, it's easy to go, well, I've got another hour, I can do that after lunch, I can do that this afternoon, and by the time you realise, it's like, okay, it's tomorrow and I actually did nothing. So it's, about being disciplined and just finding that. And going back to how simple it really is. And that's what it is all about, right? It's just simplicity. Don't overcomplicate it and just focus on those high-paying activities. So Kylie, can you share with us, now that you've been on that self-belief and self-love journey, I know you've put so much into that and really being just grateful for everything that's happening around you and everything that you do have, and owning the situations and turning those around into more of a positive as opposed to focusing on a negative. Can we ask you, what are your goals, in the next kind of 30 to 90 days? What are you focusing on at this point in time?
Yeah. I want to caution with goals. There's times in my life where I'm so afraid to fail that I don't set goals. I'm sure someone can relate to that. So of late, I've been in that space where I'm too scared to set anything. But most recently, I've just pulled it back to, SMART goals, something that I feel like, I can achieve that and know that I can if I follow the DMO. So it's simply one team each month over the next 2 months and 3 direct customers each month. So I know the how is be consistent with my DMO every day. But the gateway to that, again, is self-belief and confidence. So I've got to work on that every day. So personal development now, it's not just, personal development isn't an add-on to me. It's an absolute must, because that's where I build my belief, build my confidence, and nurture that. So those are my goals for the next 1 to 2 months.
Awesome. I absolutely love it. And I think from the comments below, I can see that you are certainly resonating with a lot of the team on here. They can relate to exactly where you're at. And I know there is some people on here that are scared to set goals. They don't even know where to start, and that freaks them out as well. So, it's nice to share that. And that's why we're doing this hot seat, is because we're in that non-judgmental space. We can share and just let team know that we're all on the same journey. We all have the same challenges. We all have the same BS stories. We all have all that going on. No matter what we post on social media about how amazing life is, we do have those little, negative Nancy's, whatever they're called, that come up, in our head sometimes. So thank you so much for sharing, Kylie. I've absolutely loved, listening to you. Even though I connect with you a lot, it's still nice to have you share. And, you speak so beautifully all the time when you're on Zoom. So I want to open it up to you girls to see who would love to ask, a question from Kylie. I'm sure she'll be raw, real with you guys and tell it exactly how it is, because that's what this is all about. So does anyone have a question that they would love to ask her? Tracy, what does a day look like for you?
Oh, sorry, I just realised I am unmuted. Sorry.
Right. So scheduling through all my challenges, when I reach out to Kylie, she constantly shares with us how important scheduling is, and I'm yet to master it. And the reason for that is my, things change all the time with having a child, and then my partner has his commitments as well. So it varies so much. But look, I Uber drive part-time-ish, so about 30 hours. So that's my way of getting consistent-ish income while I build up Juice Plus business. So I work around working Uber hours that are peak hours, and then everything that needs to be done at home, and then errands, etc. But recently, when I'm out on the road, it can be really quiet, and I can get, in the past at least, really disheartened, thinking, I'm out here, it's hard, I'm not earning, a good hourly rate when I look at what I'm earning. But that's my time to reach out and messages and do my comments and my likes and, plug into a training. So flipping that seemingly negative into a positive and utilising those stolen moments, I guess. And I touched on exercise. Like, it's not my strength, and it's not something that I get excited about, but I know that I feel better for it when I do. So I started reading The Morning Miracle recently, because I've heard so many raves about it. Kira's raved about it. so many others in the team. And that's been able to get me into action out of bed like an hour and a half earlier and do that exercise. And some days it doesn't happen, and that's all right. But at the end of the night, I'll do some yoga. It might not be intense workout, but it's a good way to ground myself. So it's still a work in progress, but it's just doing something each day that's making me a bit better than the day before. Yeah.
Awesome. Can you share a little bit around, do you have a set amount of like reach outs you do, or a focus on what posts you're going to do, or likes or comments you have, anything that you do on a day-to-day basis that you consistently do? I know there's been times where you've had that really self-doubt that you probably weren't doing those daily things, but in general, when it's a good day, what kind of things would you do consistently for the business?
Yeah. My DMO has gone from this to this, back to that, as my family life has changed. And we talk about, everyone would have heard about low-hanging fruit, and it's good to go for those things, and that's the easy stuff. But what I find the hard stuff for me is the direct reach outs. And again, I'm not consistent at it, but I know that when I am, you just get, you get yourself into a state of gratitude. You get that first one out, it's hard. That second one out, it's still hard. But then the third, fourth, and fifth become easier. And when I was on this Boss Babe Blitz with Adam and Kira today, they were asking people to comment the number of reach outs, the number of follow-ups that they'd achieved in that segment of action. And it was the leaders, the ones that are high up, that were consistently having really high numbers. And it just reiterated to me that the more you do it, the more efficient you become at it, and it's all about discipline. So where I haven't always been disciplined in my Juice Plus business, I've been working on the things around that strengthen my discipline, so that I'm becoming more disciplined in all areas of life, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you. Has anyone else got anything they would like to ask Kylie?
Can I just ask, Kylie? Hi. I haven't really had too much to do with you. Well, I don't feel like we've had much face-to-face stuff, but I have noticed a lot of growth from when I heard you speak a long time ago. Would you be able to share with the girls? I know a few of my teammates as well have that kind of self-doubt that keeps coming up and rearing its ugly head, and you speak a lot about going to work on yourself, and that's what's really helped you propel your business in the last couple of months. So is there any one in particular podcast, or is there someone in the business that you really resonate with that has helped you with any of that stuff?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So Tony Robbins priming, I really love. If you've heard of that or not heard of that, just YouTube it, and heaps of recordings of that will come up. So that's a really good way if you're struggling to find a way to be, if you grab your pen and paper and you sit down and you try write out what you're grateful for, but you're struggling, put on that, because that will really, guide you through and jogging your mind on how to be grateful. So I really relate to that. And for me, Linda Evenden and Kira Westwick, they just hit it home. And every time I listen to them, there's always something around belief. Kira covers it nicely. Linda goes in really deep. So if I'm struggling, then I'll just search in Team Spirit or Team Freestyle for a podcast or for a recording that I've done around belief, and it's not hard to find something. It just reminds you, when you get those no's, or when you're out of action, the stronger your belief is, the less shakeable you are, the more determined you'll be to just get into action. So it's just something that I've accepted. it's a mountain that I'm just going to have to keep on working on. It's not something that you master. It's something that you continually have to work on. So that's what I've accepted for me, not to get complacent with thinking that I've mastered belief and confidence in myself. They talk about it all the time. They have to keep trying to work on it. That's why they invest so much in their personal development and what they do. So yeah, for me it's Kira, Linda, and Tony Robbins primary.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah. And it's so easy, right, in our business, as you said, when you're having that moment of self-doubt, which is going to creep in. It does, right? It still does it for Tanika and I. It does it for Kira and Adam. Like, you might think, no, they don't, but they do. They all have moments like that. And it's just on a different level. Can I get it to 500 club? I know that sounds crazy. We might can we get to 5 club or 50 club? They've got the same challenges, but on a different level. So it's a matter of right now, what do I need to do to change my mindset? And as Kylie said, go into one of the pages, search the word belief and see what comes up. There would be so many recordings on there, and just finding that person. As she said, it's Linda, Kira, and Tony that are for her. If they're not for you, then don't listen to them. And I know some of my team on the journey are like, I just can't connect with that person. I'm like, well, don't jump on their training. Go on a different one. There's so many things available to us every single day. Connect with who resonates with you. Reach out to the person that resonates with you, no matter how high they are. Don't think they're unreachable, because they're not. Just have that courage and go, you know what, I'm going to connect with that person. So thank you so much. And I love how Katie's just said, Linda spent around $150,000 in Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership last year. It's crazy. She obviously is at that level where she can afford to spend that, but she's over the years has just compounded continually. And I know from when I started, and I sat in the cafe right near my gym, and Adam did it the wrong way. Adam invited me to the cafe, and I had no idea this woman was coming. And then I got to the cafe, and there's this woman there, and she's like, this is Linda, she's amazing, she's this and that. And I just was like, straight away, I was like this. Because I was like, who the hell is this? And you are just really hijacking me right now. And at that time, I've seen her grow. I think she was just a national marketing director, because when obviously Adam came in, he exploded her business. So I've seen firsthand the growth that woman has had. It has not happened overnight. I know that people come in now to go, oh, she's amazing, look at her. It didn't just happen. She chose to invest in herself, and she chose that this was the vehicle, that she was going to be successful no matter what. And she didn't get to 100 club in 2 years, like some of the other team are, or 1 year. There's some crazy records. Linda took years to get to there, but when she did, her business just took off. So thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on tonight. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, Kylie. I just love the angle that you approached tonight, and thank you just for being real with everyone. I think team then go, I'm not the only one, and it's okay. I'm sure you've given them a couple of little things to get, take away and think about as well. So before we jump off, does anyone else have any last questions?